There is a formula you can follow to develop your photography pricing, and no, it does not involve looking at what everybody else is charging. First, you need to decide how much money you want to be making. When I came up with this number, I looked at how much did I make at the job that I quit to do my photography business, and you should also take into account your living expenses, how much you want to be saving, and any kind of fun expenses like vacation, travel, all that good stuff. Then, once you have that total number of how much money you want to make, we're going to reverse engineer how much your photography packages should cost based on your capacity. What I mean by capacity is how many clients can you take on per year. Let's say you want to make $100,000 a year, and this is your goal gross revenue, meaning revenue before expenses. When you're looking at your revenue numbers, there are three main categories that we want to take into account. Those are number one, your taxes, number two, your business expenses or operating expenses. And number three, your owner's pay, or how much do you actually take home. Remember that if you want to take home $100,000, that doesn't mean $100,000 in photography packages sold. That means $100,000 after taxes, after business expenses, and yes, after gear. I will get into that breakdown later, but let's just stick with it for simplicity. $100,000 gross revenue. That's the goal right now. Now that you have your goal gross revenue, let's think about how many clients can you take on per year. This doesn't have to be exact. We are just estimating to start. Let's say you have the bandwidth to take on 2 clients per week. So 2 times 52 would be 104 clients a year. But that doesn't take into account any weeks that you take off, like vacation, or weeks that you want to be working, but not necessarily with clients. So working on your marketing or working on things in the business that's not client work. Let's just estimate there are 6 weeks out of the year that you don't want to be working with clients, maybe 4 are for vacation and 2 are to be working on your business and not in your business with clients. Taking out these 6 weeks, that's actually 92 clients a year. If you want your goal gross revenue to be $100,000 with 92 clients a year, then we take $100,000 divided by 92. That puts us at about $1,086 per client. But what we haven't factored in are your expenses yet. Let's say for every dollar that comes in, you put aside 25% for operating expenses. Things like camera gear, lenses, your website hosting, a virtual assistant if you have one. You have 25% set aside to cover these costs. And then, to be safe, let's say you save another 25% for taxes, quarterly estimated taxes, and then any taxes that you might owe at the end of the year. Well, with these numbers, 25% going to operating expenses, 25% going to taxes, that means of the goal, $100,000 in gross revenue, you would only take home $50,000 after taxes and after expenses. So that $1,086 per client that we just calculated doesn't work for our goal take-home pay, right? We have to double it. We have to charge at least $2,000 to be able to take home 50% of that and still cover our taxes and our expenses. Or if you don't want to raise your prices, then you'd have to take on double the number of clients. I mean, 92 already sounds like a lot, but double that would be a lot. So this is where we're kind of playing this seesaw of how many clients do I want to take on? How many do I like to work with and can handle versus how much can I charge? How much do I feel confident charging? Keep in mind also, this is just for your photography fee. This doesn't include incidentals or your hair and makeup costs, studio rentals, props, any other little things that add up over time, travel. We're not including that yet. So really, you probably need to be charging more than $2,000 if you want to meet that goal income. Brand photography isn't cheap, but that also means you don't have to start your pricing here or jump up if you're currently charging $300 to $500 for a session. That's a big jump to make. And yes, I would love for us to get here now, but we can make incremental changes to move forward in that direction. My very first 3-hour brand photography package, it did not include hair and makeup or a studio rental. It was just me showing up, doing the planning call beforehand, and then doing the photo shoot. It was $600. Now, for the same deliverables and a little bit more, I include hair and makeup and a few other things now, the same package costs $4,000. I did not make this jump immediately. I slowly raised my prices over time. And as I raised these prices, I started including other things like hair and makeup, for example. If trying to decide how many clients you can work with for the year is too overwhelming, we can dial it back and start with, what does your typical week look like? In your ideal world, how many clients are you working with? You can even go ahead and track your time. I use this free app called Toggle Track. I would recommend tracking your time for a month and see, okay, how much time am I spending working on emails, working with clients? And when I work with clients, how much of that is on location shooting versus all the back end stuff like editing, planning, and delivery. So this pricing that we just went over works if you only sell one package to every single client. This is a great way to start. I have a signature package, my $4,000 package that I sell over and over and over again. That's what I direct most of my clients to, but not everybody books that. Occasionally, I will have an odd job that needs to be custom quoted, or I'll do mini sessions, or I have returning clients that are only looking for an hour here or there. I only offer that to returning clients. So to get that hourly rate, I combine what I just told you, so I know how many hours that I have per week to work with clients. It looks a little bit different for me now, but generally I like to take on one client a week. And what I do is I take my number of hours that I can work with clients per week. I multiply that by the number of working weeks per year. So 52 minus 6, because I want 6 weeks to do not client work. And then I divide my goal revenue by the number of hours, and that tells me my effective hourly rate. Or in simpler terms, for every hour that I spend shooting with the client, how much money do I want to make? I know this is complicated, so if you want a more streamlined way to look at this, I have an all-in-one pricing spreadsheet. I have a video tutorial that shows you exactly how to go over it. You can do the math on paper, but the spreadsheet's a lot easier. The link for that is in the description. I would say 20 to 30% of my revenue comes from these odd jobs that are custom quoted or random portrait sessions that I'll take on every once in a while here and there. You'll want to take these odd jobs into account when you are calculating your photography pricing because these take your time too. The calculator I just mentioned also factors in these odd jobs into the spreadsheet, so you can get the link in the description. It also comes with a bonus guide that shows you how to market your photography packages after you've put them together. Now, once you have your effective hourly rate, so for every hour that I'm out shooting, how much do I want to make? You can reverse engineer how much everything else should cost in your business. So I know my effective hourly rate for shooting is between $800 and $1,000. I want to bring in $800 to $1,000 for every hour that I am out on location with my camera. So if I'm doing mini sessions, let's say 30-minute mini sessions, for example, well, that's easy. I would take my hour and divide it by 2. So my mini sessions are generally between $400 and $500. And that fluctuates again, depending on other costs, like am I including hair and makeup? Am I renting a studio for them? In terms of what you offer, and should you offer just one package? Should you have more than one package? That really comes down to your personal preference. I prefer to have one core offer or a signature offer that you sell over and over and over again. It should fulfill the needs of most of your clients. The reason why I suggest having a core offer or a signature offer is because when you sell one thing over and over and over again, it becomes so much easier. The alternative is constantly putting together new and different packages for new people. You're not sure what's included, they're not sure what's included, and then people just get confused. And when people are confused, they don't buy. So if you're unsure, I recommend starting with a signature package. You direct most people to it. You can still custom quote it if what they need is not within the scope of your core offer. And you can still offer mini sessions if you want to. I host mini sessions when I want to try out a new location. When I first opened my studio in the Bay Area, I hosted a couple of rounds of mini sessions because I wanted a lot of portfolio content at once. And that was a great way for people to see how my studio could be used for brand photography. So if there's a venue that you want to use, I recommend doing mini sessions for those to build up portfolio work quickly. For brand photographers specifically, whether you offer a 2-hour session or a 4-hour session or a full day session, that's really going to depend on how you work. I have done all of the above, and I found that my sweet spot is about a 3-hour session, and that includes photo and video. That's the $4,000 package right now. Again, I don't want you to take my pricing and just copy and paste it to your business, because if it doesn't make sense for you, it's not going to work. This package was not always $4,000. I've played around with it a little bit, but it all boils down to that pricing calculator and what my effective hourly rate is, and I always use that as a framework when I'm pricing my own services. This might be an unpopular opinion, but That price includes all the licensing. The people that I work with are typically solo entrepreneurs, and I'm not interested in tracking them down and having them renew a license every year. Also, by the time a year passes, they're already ready for new brand photos. Let's say I issued a year of commercial use license. By the time that year is up anyway, they are probably ready to get new brand photos again because they look different or their business has changed. So that pricing is all inclusive. If you're newer to brand photography or you're thinking about pivoting into brand photography, stay tuned for my next video where I'll share all about how I pivoted into brand photography and how you can do it too. See you there.